Hey everybody, welcome back to Apex Academy. Now actual new recent content edition. This also a bit of a change to how things are going to be going moving forward with these uploads. Obviously up until now I've been doing one entire VOD upload of like what 1 to 3 hour content. Before, ideally I did it one team a week and then one upload a week. But now I'm going to be going towards one game per upload and still going on the one team per week train, so it would be ideally 5 uploads per week, one game each, so 5 uploads in different days. Doing this a little bit to make it easy because I know some people have given me feedback where they'll binge watch maybe like 30-40 minutes, so a lot of people are saying that algorithmically it should help my YouTube channel kind of find more viewers and whatnot and more viewer retention on top of ad revenue. Would be a little bit nicer, but I think it'll make it easier in the long run for a lot of people to watch. Obviously it's going to suck for the people that want to see it, you know, all right away, right then and there. That's, you know, it's all they can wait for. But I think in the long run it'll be really good. At the end of the day, I do want to grow this channel as much as possible. The more it grows, the more I'll be able to put out more content, because I'll actually be able to make money on the videos, because at the moment I don't. I hope this new format works. Really want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments, of course. Anyways, with that intro said and done, we'll get into this week's team, which will be NRG from the most recent online tournament 6. I believe it's 6, yeah. This is the first team that is actually on the VOD reviews for a second time, and the only player, FREXS, that has been on here for a second time. It's nice to see them back here with a very dominant squad now, especially it's no longer obviously the A squad. It's FREXS, Nafen, and Rocker, which were previously FREXS and the Youngins that placed 4th in the $25,000 GLL tournament.
Turn it up!
I think this is the strongest version of the team. Not to say the other teams weren't strong, but this is definitely a team full of passion. A lot of 2 young bucks, and FREXS, I think definitely one of the more smarter IGLs in the scene as well. So it was very interesting to see them play and how different it was compared to the first time I did NRG. So had a blast watching. Big congrats to FREXS and NRG for finally taking home an online tournament victory, and hope you guys enjoy. I can't wait. FREXS, the first ever player to appear twice in my VOD review series. That's something right there. Don't tell me, oh my, this motherfucker has game 1, the start of game 1 muted, bro. All right, well, his VOD's muted, so this is gonna be a bit awkward. Imagine listening to music when you're playing a fucking tournament. I will never understand people that do that. You're playing a fucking tournament, you're listening to music in a game that already has questionable at best audio. I never thought I'd start a VOD review and just be generally pissed off. Ajax, play some music in the background on the YouTube video. Oh wait, you already do. I don't know, fill it with some funny content, because I can't myself. Oh brother, did I make this? We didn't make
Hodsic? Hodsic?
Alright, for those that don't know, FREXS is a weirdo and likes to land tree. Why are we hating on tree? It's just like, I don't know, man. Tree is like... FREXS might see this and then he'll probably be a little bit pissed off. But I feel like tree is the one place that's just like... It's the place the team goes for that, like, you know, you can't get any of the major POIs, so it's kind of just like, alright, we'll settle for tree, you know? You know what I mean? I know FREXS has been dropping there for a long time, but maybe there's a reason for it. I love you, FREXS. I absolutely fucking love you. No, that's Refinery. That's also... Refinery is one of them. There isn't only one of those spots on the map. Refinery is certainly one of them. Refinery is absolutely... I don't know what it is, but if... And this is no slam on anyone that drops Refinery in tournaments, but... Refinery is definitely one of those spots where it's just like a shit, man. We're just getting fucked everywhere else we go. We just gotta go here. But Tree is good because it has a beacon and it has a couple end spots around here, so... It's definitely good. But yeah, let's see what FREXS and the Youngins can pull out for this tournament, even though we already know, but you know what I mean, strategically. I can't judge any of their comms because FREXS is listening to music. But hey, maybe that's the reason I've never won a tournament. You know, he is a tournament winner. I am not. I was meaning Tree isn't all that bad of a spot, but I just like to give my boy Frex some shit. It's just a little too easy sometimes. That's just the way we go. That's our dynamic. All right, let's take a look at the circle. I already know where this one is, so this is gonna be, you know, the one thing this casting is doing. Normally, I like to do these VOD reviews going fresh into it and just kind of like I have no idea what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna guess what I'm gonna give you the insight on guessing why I think what's gonna land. I actually did on the ALGS cast. I did call this circle relatively. I believe it actually ends. Yeah. Wait, no, not even relatively. I think I called it actually pretty close. I'm pretty sure it ends right here for those that don't know. And I did call this on the ALGS cast. There's no real, for those wondering like how the fuck do you call a circle like this? There's no real like formula, you know, or flowchart. It's kind of just having thousands of hours playing this game and knowing end circles. There's, if you watch scrims, if you play a lot of like really sweaty rank that gets to the end game circles, there is typically a lot of circles that end here. The only real way to read potentially that it's gonna go here is that the first circle kind of in the middle shifts towards this area. That's not the way you read every circle. All circles pull certain directions sometimes. There's no 100% foolproof way to read circles, but this is how I'm sure most players are going to read it this way without even hitting this beacon. They actually did not get a beacon down here. That's pretty unlucky. They don't have a beacon anywhere in sight. Like there's no way they're going for that. There's no way they're going for that. The only beacon they're probably, if they're going to hit one, they might rotate into frag east and hit that shit. I'd be curious to see actually if they go to frag east. So what a lot of teams in this situation would do is, you know, you have a pathfinder, you want to use that pathfinder. So what a lot of teams would do is they would get to a spot that's likely vacated, which at this point frag east probably would be, unless another team is trying to use the beacon. They'll make the call to play for the beacon, wait for the next circle, hit the beacon, and then plan their next move, rather than over rotating for a circle that they don't even know that's going to exist. Make sense? You know, if they were to blindly rotate somewhere here, whereas they might be smart and be able to read circles well, it's sometimes better that you just hit the beacon, because as the circles close, as the zone level increases, less teams know where the circle is going to go based on pathfinder readings, because not every team is going to have, like, look at this. So when this circle closes, there's 3 beacons in play. 4 beacons, sorry. So only potentially 4, maybe 5 or 6 teams, if any stragglers rotate around and grab the beacon anyways. After this zone 1 closes, only probably 4 to 6 teams. Oh shit, sorry, there's one right here too. 5 to 7 teams are gonna know where the circle is. That's a lot, but that'll all change as it gets further down. But we're gonna speed it up because first off, Frex doesn't make any calls and I can't judge how bad his calls are. So we're gonna speed it up a little bit. Normally this is the part where like I kind of judge their comms. And like I said, but Frex, he's not giving me anything because he's playing fucking copyrighted music on stream. At Twitch support. Alright, so Frex, it seems like he's pinging either that there's a team over there. It seems like he's moving towards the beacon. It looks like they're kind of moving towards the beacon, so they might be doing what I was just talking about. So yeah. Most teams know it's not going to end here. If you're ever wondering how teams read circles, it's basically the very first circle, what it's mostly... Again, it varies for like different end zones and different end games, but a lot of circles that are kind of like unpredictable, most people just read it based off of the end zones that they know, based off of the middle of the first circle. That's how most people read it. If you ever wondered how they go, I think it's this zone. All right, so they did hit the beacon. I'm fucking 5-head. They did hit the beacon. They played for exactly that. I'm seeing a lot of pings, taking the high ground. Interesting note here, I think Complexity was on this high ground very early on, but they decided to leave it to chase the team all the way to the north end of sorting. I actually can't wait to do Complexity's VOD review. That's gonna be, because no other team I VOD reviewed so far plays like that, except for maybe Sentinels, old Sentinels that is. Alright.
Yeah, we just go here.
So, I'm gonna play this a little bit on normal just to hear a little bit of their game plan. Obviously, they just said they want to chill here.
Though, by the way.
This guy just jumped off. This Watson just jumped off. Or this Wraith just jumped off. What?
Fuck, man.
What?
Okay, well.
Holy shit.
You gotta go back. Let's go back, bro. Go south. Run south.
Nafen!
You have to run. Bro, like, I just cut.
Oh, I didn't even...
Fuck, man.
He just got team shot like crazy. It seems like a scout and a longbow. Holy.
Wait, you gotta go
That's
back,
one of
go
those things
back.
you really just hate to
Go
see.
south, run south.
Luckily, they are in a spot where they can easily.
Yes, I know.
And we're gonna run to Gibby teams. They're gonna chase us now. So we need to like.
No, complexity is on the hill, so the only team we're gonna run to is Central.
We need to run
Unlike-
this way, Frex.
Yep.
No, we need to run like train yard.
We could just loot. We can res him up top.
Yeah, that's a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, we can.
So what they're basically afraid of is because this is going to be the edge of the zone. They're afraid of essentially Gibraltar teams are known for playing edge of zone because they don't really necessarily need to position themselves based on the circle because they can fight because they have Gibraltar dome. And they can easily reset when they need to. In competitive play, Gibraltar teams are typically known as edge teams. So they're afraid of rezzing here because this is basically the edge of the next circle.
I'm gonna loot all this shit.
Much like pubs and ranked, anyone getting rezzed is a massive like siren song
There's another blue. There's like 7 blues around
for
here,
people
bro.
coming
So many blues.
and
Honestly, I have my 2 guns there.
destroying them. It's not the right analogy, but just work with me here.
It's fine. It's
We're
fine,
tipsy a
bro.
little bit.
They're on the train tracks right now.
Yeah. They just
It's a
grab-
pass team.
They
Yo, what's up, Adam? How you doing, man?
one.
I think people camping choke points and scrims / ALGS looking for unsuspecting teams to jump and get loot from. It's a viable strategy. It's fucking annoying to die to, but
Alright.
it is technically smart. Especially if you have no loot.
Yup.
It's really annoying to die to.
Someone's
Happened
trying lifeline.
We should have played this game.
countless times to me.
We're not
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
Can we get back to our building?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it is very
we can,
smart.
like, hard force ourselves in.
we can try.
Because it's
There's, like,
basically
blue armor
it's
here, bro.
basically
We should-
free loot.
Whenever you have zip, go
It should
south.
be an easy 3 kills, and then they rotate in the zone.
I'm trying to drop. That's fine.
Okay.
I think we go back
Thank
to
you,
our
legal
building.
joker man. I appreciate
I
it.
think we go back to our building as well. But
I just don't want to force ourselves in and die because of it. I think we.
Alright, let's listen to some of the comms a bit.
If we can, I want to.
there's a blue armor here.
It's a smart call. Basically, anytime you have
There's a
if
301.
you have to make like obviously everybody wants to get in, right? But at a point like this, you're in the second zone. You're on the edge of the second zone. You're not getting a good spot in the middle of the circle, despite where it is. So, right. So yes, as a Pathfinder team, typically in competitive play, you want to. Obviously, your ideal situation is you hit beacons, you get to the best spot in zone you can where you think it's going to end, and then you basically try to destroy every team trying to rotate around you. That's like the very like long story short formula of how to play this shit. I need to be less profane, but anyways, but sometimes if you know, again, there's 19 squads up, second zone, still pretty big. There's a lot of real estate, granted, they can move around a lot pretty freely. Hitting this beacon, again, like I said, there's this beacon, I think now only like 5 to 7 teams, if that, are going to be knowing this beacon. So the more information you have for the end zone, the smarter you can play versus teams that don't know what zones are going to be the end zone.
I don't know.
So
There.
hitting this beacon,
We could probably.
even though they're not in zone, really good
There's a
idea.
light mag,
They'd be
purple light
dumb
mag.
not to.
I want to get my fucking loot first.
All right, Nathan, calm down. It's still there, I think.
I guess, but
I really want
Yeah, beacon more. Come on, Nate.
nothing j- he, like,
Beacon more important than the loot. No, I'm actually proud as hell of this guy. I've been telling Lou to stream. Okay, let's talk. Actually, we should talk about the circle before we talk about any of the cute things. But yeah, basically, for those that don't know, this is pooling here. So, this circle actually has a surprising amount of real estate. There are certainly going to be a lot of teams that die here. I don't exactly remember how many. But when you are on this end, when you are a Pathfinder team, this is where stuff gets tricky. Because Pathfinder teams want to be on the inside of the circle because they can't fight on the edge. Because they don't have a Gibraltar, so they can't just reset as much. Not to say it's impossible, it certainly is possible, but it's very unlikely. Now, they're not getting in anywhere. I believe the circle ends somewhere like right here. So they're not, and they know that, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they like, you see this ping right here. They're calling it's this end circle. Now, just listen, now let's pay attention to their calls on where they want to go. I believe Frex is literally in the middle of calling it right now. Let's see what he wants to do.
We need to play here, and then I think we zip up late, and then we have to take a 3v3 with these guys. Like, I think that's our only play.
You're gonna pull up the map again?
Oh, they're team in our building.
Okay then.
I don't think zipping up will.
All right, so basically what Frex wants to do is he wants to wait I believe, for the circle to close and then zip up to this high ground up here and then take a... This would be a pretty clean 3v3 fight. Edge fights are still good because the thing about edge fights is most teams aren't going to give up what spot they already have to come third party. Now, however, if they're running a Wraith, which most teams do, they will use the Wraith portal typically to third party. But even that's risky. Even if you have a Wraith portal to get your team from your safe little area to the third party fight, you still have to always keep in mind that other teams can scout that, they can see your team portaling to third party, and they can take your spot and wait for you and basically gank you when you get back. So it's a risky play nonetheless, which is one of the reasons why edge fights work like this. Not a bad call at all. I don't really see too many other options that they have either. The only thing is they can do is really kind of just rat around and wait maybe for fights and try to take an opportune third party, clean up both teams, take their spot. But that's basically how Pathfinder teams
right
work.
Here, it's a Gibby team.
Is
They're going
hard fighting. Hard fighting
they're
3v3 against Gibraltar teams can be hard because they have that reset ability.
And then we take this building.
People are there.
Hold on, call on.
FREXS is in hard IGL mode. I believe that might have been the team that killed Nafen a little bit ago.
All my heavy.
No, I took it all.
One thing I do want to know, and I can't wait to get to this when I watch the complexity VOD review. Look at this right now. So they are in the kill feed, right? Monsoon and Lou. They they land survey and epicenter for those that don't know. They held this spot up here, this little thing that I've been circling, this like massive cliffside. They held it very early on in the game. And they left it. They went all the way over here. Well, I'll talk more detail about it in their VOD review. But they went all the way like over here, fought teams like down in this area, and then they pushed all the way in this current circle. They pushed to north sorting just to get, I think, 2 kills. I think Saucer was one of them. Get fucked, Saucer.
Okay, here, draw me some. Give me like a stack.
I believe that's Saucer's team. Hill and Arcane.
Does anybody have any bets?
I'm not coaching right now. I'm doing a VOD review.
I have 3
Chris.
cells.
I mean,
Zipping up is not gonna be a play, I'm pretty sure. Like, unless we literally just get like a free fight somehow, and they like.
I think we do it like really late though, to be honest, bro.
This guy just.
I'm gonna
Hold
put
armor is
Jin.
big.
I'm gonna put Jin like on the stairs right here, okay? Move out of the way.
All right.
Are they even there right now?
Oh, there it is,
He
Sauce.
just killed someone.
Bye-bye.
Look at check. That was like nowhere near us. Check.
Yeah, see, so NRG knows where complexity plays. NRG is thinking that complexity is up here somewhere, and they see the kill in the kill feed, and they're like, and they legitimately think that they are here somewhere. I bet you they would never guess that complexity ran literally out of the zone all the way to north sorting to get a kill. They would never think that.
No, you can walk. It's the only safe spot in the.
They are not idiots, Sound. They're actually really, really smart. Trust me. I'm not just saying that because they're my friends, but I do know they are actually incredibly smart players.
It's a costing team.
Okay.
They just play a very different style.
They're gonna.
The only thing.
They're probably gonna gas. Yeah, they're gonna barrel the fucking thing. I mean,
So what we're gonna do, Nate, is when we're gonna.
A lot of teams get upset dying to complexity.
yeah. You want to put it.
So if you're watching, we'll tackle this because I'm tackling the reason why I think you might have that opinion. A lot of teams that fight complexity in scrims or tournaments get really upset when they die to them because they know complexity's playstyle. But just because teams get upset and go like, man, this team is dog shit because they killed me, doesn't mean they're dog shit. Most teams usually say that because they are upset that they died in a 3v3. And I firmly believe, and I've said this even I think on the ALGS cast, complexity at this point, at least in NA, is probably the best team for hard 3v3 fights. Straight up. So every team that's smart knows to run from complexity because of how skilled they are in just a hard straight 3v3.
Like farther east.
Also, Harvard, thank you for the follow, by the way. I appreciate that, man.
There's a fresh blue here.
So you might wonder why did FREXS just put that fence up? This one on this wall. For those that are less in tune. For the simple reason of one of the strengths Watson has is showing presence. She isn't just to fence off like doorways or to stop nades and regen armor. She's really good at showing presence in area so people know that someone is there. He's legitimately, because the windows are there, he put the wall up just so people can see, hey, there's a Watson here. Not that it really matters. I don't think anybody's coming to take a spot here, but that's why he's doing it. It's crazy if you think about it. It really is.
Shoot, Lou. On me. Can you shoot him right here? On me?
Yeah.
All right, so they know this is complexity.
38 red.
This is a tough team for NRG here. There's a lot of distance between the two teams, and they don't have a Gibraltar. Like right there, they got damage on Lou, but Lou just bubbles and heals. And then the Gibraltar team, oh, you got to watch out for this team up here as well, trying to third them right there. But the Gibraltar team can just sit there and use their bubble for that 12 seconds to get any free damage off on you. So it was a good call to back up from that. I don't think they even really called it. They just kind of knew to go back.
Yeah, I think you fence. I think we jump up here.
When the zone closes, I actually kind of want to do it early. Fight them. Oh no, they're on me. Flexi's on me. I think. I hear them.
I'm getting fucking sniped from across the
They
map.
still seem like they're committing to this plan of zipping up.
There's a guy still in the broken brother. Oh, what he's doing over there? Probably Reptar.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we can. Wait, there's a rat right here.
Yeah.
Crack. He's so one. I'm killing him.
Where?
Right here, on the lower here. He's on you. Oh, we have to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a free point. Shiny, no! Poor Shiny.
Okay,
They're gonna want to push this for sure.
It's not even in, so we don't even make. I don't even think we make the play on that anymore. I think.
Yeah, they're gonna.
I'm listening to their.
Listen to me. They want to push us, so it's ready.
Yeah. We're gonna have to hold our spot, I think.
So this is tricky, and let me tell you why. They know complexity is in the market, and they know complexity is going to push a fight here. One, because they have to. Two, because it's complexity. So they know that they're forced with a decision here. They can either, rotate into the circle, probably late, because this is there's not a lot of places to play up here. The circle is like edges right up here. Not a lot of places to play up here. It's going to be really tough for the area for them to hold down without a Gibraltar especially. So if they rotate early, they risk getting pinched by a lot of teams as they're trying to choke teams out here. If they rotate late, they know in the back of their minds that unless complexity decides to do something else, they're gonna have to fight complexity right on the edge, and that could be a big problem. This is definitely not an ideal situation. They don't have a good rotate coming into this next zone. I'd be surprised if they made it out, but who knows? Maybe an opportune third party comes up or something, or we shall see. That's
Yeah,
the
I
only.
think we had the TP from like right here, bro.
Yeah, I think that rock's really good.
No,
Yeah.
I definitely think we still take height, even though it's not in. We definitely still zip height
Take
and fight
high and
them.
then go behind them. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can do it last.
Yeah, we can do that
I think we
too.
just hold till last second.
Yeah,
Okay.
we literally
So
hold for the last
Rocker,
second, and then
I
we
think that
walk
was
in
Rocker.
and fight these
Yeah,
guys.
Rocker wants to go up the cliff and then kind of wrap around, which is smart as well.
He had a purple Evo and needs 100 damage.
That's actually a smarter play, because if they just go up the hill here, let's bring out the handy epic pen. If they just go up the hill here, they risk basically I don't know how many teams there are, but there's one team in here, so one team here. Complexity, which last seen at market, they might have rotated, I don't know. But there's at least two teams here. With all these buildings, there might be more. If they rotate into this spot, they have to deal with all of that. So it's going to be one giant clusterfuck, and they don't have a Gibraltar to save them. So they'd have to do a really clean fight, and then pray to God nobody third parties them. If they just go up here to the high ground, it sort of forces them, or forces every other team to kind of fight each other and completely even disregard NRG that they're there. Right? You can only focus on the teams immediately around you. If NRG zips up to the height, they're no longer around the other teams. They can kind of rotate and maybe pick a fight up here with somebody, or they can just zip up here. These teams start fighting, and then they can come in and swoop in for a third party. Good call by Rocker.
They're pushing up to you.
I don't know if they do that, but it's a good call by Rocker for sure. No, Sana was not.
Wait, they're fighting up here right now. That's them. We can go high right now if you want.
We're gonna get thirded.
But if it's the same with anything in life. If your heart isn't into it, you won't win, because all of these other teams, if they want it more than you, they'll get it over you. And that's the story with all the rest of NRG, the other old versions of NRG. Every team just wanted it more than they did. Now, I'm not saying Frex didn't. Frex's heart has always been in this game, but his teammates maybe not necessarily.
There's a wingman here if you want that instead.
All right.
Playing that spot right now, where we plan to go.
Yeah, we're gonna shit on them. Can you put up a new zip like here?
I think we just take this one. I think we just take this one. Just take this one.
So this is a little unfortunate. So this team, this team watching this team or NRG take this rotation is gonna make this rough now, because now the team that was just shooting at them, basically they have their rotation secure. The best thing NRG can probably do here is to try to put as much damage as they can on them and hope that another team shoots at them straight up. This is gonna be a really rough fight, because this is the worst case scenario as a Pathfinder team in this game. You're rotating late with the circle at your back, and you have to fight a team that's gatekeeping you. Pathfinder does nothing for your team there, so except for maybe like do little hype plays like this, but that doesn't matter as much when there's a team holding you. So this is a really tough. This is gonna be a really tough rotate
Fuck
for
these
them.
guys. We gotta go. We gotta drop this way.
We have to go drop, yeah.
They're ready. They're here.
And it's a high ground fight on top of that.
Watson cracked. Watson cracked. I can't see shit.
Yeah, like look at this. This is just such an not optimal
Right.
fight for them at all. This is literally the worst case scenario.
We definitely needed a new zip right there. That was really retarded.
No, we didn't. We just did it too late.
Yeah, we need to do it early. I don't know why we waited until the last second. We literally have to walk into the.
We had to wait. Or else, no matter what we
I like to hear them
Foxy was just like looking at us.
go through what they talk about.
I think we take the spot early then. I mean, even then, their complexity has to walk uphill or do the same thing we just did.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I think we should have a new zip.
To where
But
though?
that zip is
Alright.
just in the same spot. We just
I
have to
agree.
jump down.
I know,
If
but
anything,
I
I'd say
took
zip
50 damage. I took 50 damage to Storm, and I took 50 damage to my shield. And I got stuck with Foxy guys.
Well, then you just take it at the same time we do. You know, you're slow.
All right. Well, I have to disagree with that sentiment. I don't think a new zip would have done anything. I think whoever failed to take it just needed to do it a little bit sooner. But yeah, I mean, so basically how you play this, and I'm not somehow at all saying, you know, oh, NRG, listen, I mean, this is what you're supposed to do. These guys know it. In fact, they said it right after they died. Basically, how you the ideal rotate when you're in a really bad spot in this team composition is that you do rotate early. I think Nafen may have said it, or FREXS, I don't know. When they were talking about earlier, when they were like, yo, we could play this rock, they even pinged it. I don't remember exactly where it was.
I think we
Right here.
like right here.
When they knew that this is the play, they should have done it. Now, like I said, them rotating early would have exposed them to every other team. You know, if they're right here, that would have exposed them to every other team that's like down here, and every other team would have been looking to get in there. But also, they probably would have fought themselves too, or each other rather. But that's basically what you have to just get into a safe spot. If you have the zone at your back and you're fighting a team and you're a Pathfinder team, it's extremely unlikely, especially if you have an elevation difference like this, that you come out alive.
Bro.
Yeah, I think that rock's really good.
Now, in terms of like what they could have done before this situation ever came up, a lot of their rotation was a little bit stifled with Nafen going down. It's hard to sometimes, when Nafen went down, it's hard sometimes to like think like, oh yeah, just don't go down, forehead. But like Nafen got like literally like freaking like ass blasted, like he died so fast. He's a Pathfinder. Like, look at this.
What?
That's not enough time to even have your grapple connect if you were to shoot it out the second you got shot.
Go south. Run south.
That's unlike. It's a really unfortunate pick. You know, you can make the argument he shouldn't have been out there. Whatever.
Okay, this
That's
is
fine.
long, we're just
But
120.
regardless, all things considered, I think they should have just taken that rock a little bit sooner.
Yes, I know.
But it is tough because they could have easily gotten pinched from every other team around them. It's hard to take a really early spot in the zone if you don't have good elevation or topography to cover you, which that rock wasn't the greatest.
My team are gonna run to.
That's why Gibraltar. I'm not saying to not run path, but that's the reason why you see a lot of teams running Gibraltar is because of how open these circles are. This circle has a lot of rocks and has a lot of places you can play, but when you're getting fucked from multiple angles and you have absolutely zero safe spots to hide, that's where Gibraltar comes in. I think Gibraltar's definitely a little bit stronger on this map than Path. Not saying Path's useless, obviously. My team runs Path. But that's one of those, this is one of those unfortunate scenarios that you just get into where it's hard to recover. We're light. Cry light. Thank you for the follow.
To be honest.